Hi guys, I'm Infamous, and today I'm going to be talking about why I personally love Chaos Zero Nightmare. Now first things first, why did I try the game out in the first place, right? For me, it was a pretty obvious reason. The same people that made this game, Smilegate and Super Creative, are actually the same people that made Epic 7. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Epic 7 before, but for me at least, I personally adore that game. So for me, it was pretty common sense to at least give this game a shot, even if I didn't know the genre prior to going into this. And even then, now that I'm going into the genre, I personally love it. Now for those that also don't know what type of game this is in general, it is a horror-like, roguelike card game gacha. Now, two of those I have never played, right? I've never seen a gacha with this much gore in my life. So that's pretty much uncharted territory for me, as well as the card game aspect. But even that, I love the designs for the monsters. I love the designs for the cards. Learning the kits and how to actually play these characters is super fun. In general, I did not know I was going to enjoy the gameplay this much, and I hope you guys are willing to stick through and actually learn it with me. Regardless, I've been enjoying this game, and I just want to talk about it a lot more.
私たちは故郷を失いました。カオスによって地球が壊滅したためです。
Now from that 20-second clip, I think you guys already have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about, but the first point I want to make is story. Now, story for me is a pretty big factor for PvE-like games, and for this game, since its main focus is PvE, it's going to be a really big deal for me. Now, fortunately, they do pretty good storytelling, thankfully. Just like how they do it for Epic 7 with their ML stories, they actually incorporated a lot of their PNG movement exactly from that game. Now, for me, I like the cinematics significantly more, and thankfully, they incorporate the cinematics in the main story while playing the game. That is great. I like that the fact that they do that. Hopefully we get to see more of that, because even though the PNGs are okay and I'm used to that from Epic 7, if you're going into a PvE game or a gacha game with new competition, I feel like in general, preferably people would obviously want to see cinematics more often. Or at the very least I would. You know, the PNG movements are okay. I'm okay with reading it and seeing that stuff, but at the end of the day, a cinematic is literally animation, and I don't know who wouldn't prefer animation. Now there's also other ways of storytelling that they do, even when it's not just the PNG imagery. They also have static images, which I actually really like because it shows the characters in their casual outfits or other ways of just showing and telling, and I prefer that a lot more than just the static PNGs. In the end of the day, it's just a bunch of other ways they tell the story, and these are just preferred methods that they use. But regardless, if I had a choice, I would either see it in-game or through cinematics. Now, my favorite one is actually the one from the game, because the game actually has these cool ass monsters that bring everything to life. There's these chaos zones, these planets that are ravaged with monsters, and the monsters literally kill and have gore and things like that make you actually feel like, wow, there's weight behind these characters, you know, like people could die. And there's also like actual occurrences in the game where you can accidentally kill a civilian you're trying to save, or a random pirate that's offering you meat from actual people. Like the meat is humans. It's horrible, but it's cool, you know? So things like that, I feel like that adds a lot more depth into the story and makes you feel like, okay, we're actually in an apocalypse, you know? And for me, that's a good way to storytell. Show, don't tell. And so besides the PNG aspect, everything else I love. Literally everything else. If they could incorporate that more often than the PNG images, I would love it even more. But at the end of the day, that's just one minor inconvenience I have. Besides the PNGs, everything is beautiful, and I think you guys can tell by just looking at it. It's really good, and hopefully they can incorporate it more often. Now the next segment I'm going to be talking about is actually going to be gameplay. And like I was saying earlier, this game is a card game, roguelike first, gacha second. So first things first, every single character has their own deck of cards. These characters, whether they're a support, whether they're DPS, whether they're shielding, doesn't really matter. They all have their own build. They have their own deck as well as neutral cards in terms of the roguelike. So for example, if I go to a campground and I choose to train, as you guys can see right now on the screen, you guys can get a training card. This is a neutral card that you can put on most people depending on what their attributes are. Now, other cool things in this game are also occurrences. Another thing I was mentioning earlier. This type of stuff helps world building. Sometimes you can save people, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can loot up corpses. That sounds horrible, but you can, and you can get better equipment depending on what your choices are. Sometimes you roll dices and it really is luck based, and sometimes you just have to destroy the enemy with your current builds. It's really cool, and the game helps you build that as well as helps develop the story for the game. It's really nice overall, and personally, I really like it. There's also ego points in the game, which ego points help you get your ego skill. This is essentially an ultimate. This ultimate is also unique for most characters. For example, if you play Keiron, he has a lot of AoE attacks, and if you play Rin, she has a lot of single target DPS. It's really unique depending on what character you guys are playing. In general, I was actually surprised to see how unique some of these characters are. For example, Keiron makes void spells, and initially they are useless, but if you use a certain card, you can now make void spells viable. They heal and attack at the same time, while only costing 1 action point. The game is very unique, to put it simply, and as you guys can hear me talk, I think you guys can already have an idea of how passionate I am in general. There's just so much in this game. There's epiphany cards, there is occurrences, there's mini mobs as well as big bosses, so you guys have variety in terms of it. The occurrences are probably my favorite part because, again, for me, like I said earlier, meeting the butcher that is literally serving you human meat is something I was never expecting, right? So in general, just playing the gameplay and enjoying some of the little story tidbits mid-combat, or just exploring these kind of like how you would in Epic 7's Labyrinth. Again, I really enjoy how they implemented the roguelike aspect in this game, and the cards really do feel unique. Every character in themselves, you can actually feel that they're different playstyles, you know? I don't know what else to say besides I just really enjoyed it overall, and I think you guys can tell by how I'm speaking about it. Now the next thing we're going to be talking about is going to be gacha. Now there's 4 different banners, at least as far as I know, and there's pros and cons to them, so there's things I do like and some things I don't. First things first, there are foil card banners, and if you guys have never played with any cards whatsoever, a foil card is essentially a pretty cool looking card. So for example, if you guys have ever played with Pokemon cards, there's cards that have holographics and there's non-holographic cards, right? The holographic cards are usually held to higher standard because they're harder to pull, and just like in this game, we actually have foil cards. Now these are completely farmable for free. You guys can get every single banner for free as well, but this is legitimately free currency. Now there's also different types of banners. There's a discounted standard banner, a regular standard banner, a partner banner, which is essentially a weapon banner, and then as far as I know, there's also going to be premium banners. As of right now in this beta test, we did not have access to any premium banners, but at the very least we got to see some rates for the standard, which I assume will also carry over to premium. For 5 stars, if you guys are doing a multi, it is a 1% chance. If you guys are going for 4 stars, it is a 5% chance, and partners are even higher. So naturally, I'm very curious if these rates are actually going to stay through until the actual relaunch of the game. If they are, the rates are fairly low, and so that's very unfortunate. But on the bright side, hopefully they actually keep it this way. But during the beta, we had a abundance of summon currency, at the very least for standard banner units. Even if the standard banner units are the only things that are very common, if we get hella currency, it doesn't really matter, right? So at the end of the day, even though the rates are, to be honest, completely abysmal, if we get a lot of currency, it makes up for that huge loss. And if you guys are starting out like I was during this beta, the fact that we're also getting discounted banners is very nice, and hopefully during special events we can also get more access to those discounted banners. At the end of the day, literally everything I'm saying right now could actually be incorrect, just because of the fact that we are beta testing. Everything could be changed by the time the game actually launches officially, but assuming that everything does actually stay the same, the positives that I want to take away from this are the fact that foil cards are not buffs to your characters. They are just free, cool looking cards. Now another big thing is the fact that during the beta, assuming that they actually give the same amount of pulls, bro, you guys are chilling. We get like 5 standard banner characters for free, so we're good. There's also a standard banner shop, so if you guys do save your currency, you guys can actually get 5-star weapons for free. Now aside from that, I do think that the rates could be changed. That would be huge for us. Limited banners we did not get access to at all, so hopefully that, you know, the pity stays the same. But honestly, aside from that, there's not much to say other than it's a gacha system at the end of the day, and it's a solid one at that. Hopefully, again, there's enough ways to farm the free-to-play currency for us, but assuming they keep the pity system, I'm happy with it. Now the next thing I want to talk about is going to be Ark City. So what essentially this is just your way of handling daily reports, things that can help you boost your friendship with your teammates. Mind you, friendship is actually very crucial because first off, you get a pretty cool wallpaper, wink wink, but we'll get to that later. One of the biggest things is the fact that you actually get a stat increase in this, and there's also passives built in. Not only that, but there's also one way to farm stamina, which is your cafe. It gives you 80 stamina for free, or a capsule that will give you 60 for whenever you want to use it. Now, another place you guys can go to is a restaurant. In the restaurant, you can pick a food, and those foods, depending on which one you pick, will also give you certain buffs. I personally like going for the sushi because it gives you an attack buff, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you pick. There's also multiple chances for you to get it, so it doesn't really matter. Now, one of the biggest benefits of this Ark City is the fact that when you guys are playing it, it's quite literally just drag your mouse, click, you're done. You don't have to worry about shit. This Ark City is so easy that, again, it's quite literally just focusing on your dailies. That's personally why I like it so much. It's quite literally just a daily system, but with the benefits of having nice animations, nice OSTs, and a lot more, right? Now, the last reason and the biggest reason why I actually like the Ark City is not only because it's convenient, but also because of the fact that it's pretty lore relevant. So even when you're not playing the game in the chaos zones and you're not actually playing the roguelike itself, you still get some bits of lore in the fact that we are actually on an arc called the SS Nightmare, and the Ark City is there to help people, protos in specific, recuperate before going on another mission. There's quite literally an infirmary so that when you do fail a mission and you need help with your people that are going crazy or chaotic, they have a mental breakdown, you can either help them forget the memories or you can help them cancel it. Now, depending on what decision you guys make, you guys can either save your file or boost your friendship. Regardless of what you choose, it's pretty cool that the Ark City is a pretty big factor in helping you. Regardless, I'm very happy with the update. I like the fact that the Ark City is prevalent in lore too, but in general, it's just a nice little touch. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is going to be character progression systems. Now, first things first, if you guys have played quite literally any Hoyo game, this is going to be a very reminiscent system. Essentially, what you guys want to do with a character is simply level them to level 60 and then focus on their potential upgrade cards. Now, what this does is it's basically extra passives baked into the kit, and upgrading them can also give you extra defense. For example, the girl I'm upgrading right now will have a higher shield gain simply by upgrading the tracer material. Not only that, but we could also upgrade Eidolons, aka if you guys get a dupe of a character, you guys can manifest their ego and further increase their kit. You guys can unlock brand new passives that weren't already built in. So if you guys end up pulling 20 Jokers or 20 Rays, or let's say you guys get a bunch of K-Rons, you guys aren't going to have them be completely useless because it's actually directly buffing the character. Now, aside from that, there really isn't much to say. The character progression system is pretty basic. The biggest benefit that I want to take from this is the fact that you can level up every character to level 20 and you guys get free standard banner pulls. Now, if you guys are unlucky like me, getting these standard banner pulls can literally be the make or break between you getting a K-Ron that you guys want, or a Rin, or literally any character for that matter. So, for example, let's say I want to get multiple copies of Rey. She's my favorite 4-star. Having these standard banner pulls just from leveling a character is actually going to be very, very good and significant, simply because these are actually whole singles, and with the amount of characters in the game, that can actually build up to a multi simply by leveling them up to level 60 or even level 20 for that matter. So in my opinion, I really do think this is really good for free-to-play players, and I'm personally looking forward to whether or not they're going to introduce a mechanic similar to Epic 7 where you guys have access to getting free Eidolons in some other way, or in this case manifesting egos, because if we actually get egos for free at some point, that would be absolutely insane, because like I said, they're not just extra stat bonuses like an Epic 7. These are whole passives that are locked behind this, so it would be insane if they pulled an Epic 7 and they gave free egos. Now, the biggest thing in character progression is actually going to be kit building. Now, for kit building, it's pretty simple. Like I just showed you guys on the screen, there are cards that you guys can build in your deck. Like I was mentioning earlier, there's neutral cards, and you're going to have to grind it in the roguelike system. Now, to grind all these neutral cards and everything like I showed you prior, all you guys have to do is go through the Chaos Manifestation mode, go through your occurrences. When you're resting at campfires, you guys can simply train, and then once you guys get your manifestation cards, just like I was showing you right now, all you guys have to do is actually build your deck like you normally would with a deck of cards. Now, once you're done with that, you guys are simply done with the character progression system. There really is nothing to do once you guys have your deck build, so honestly, we can just go to the next topic. Now, the last thing we're going to be talking about is going to be character design and character just in general. For me, the biggest thing is the fact that once you guys get level 10, one big bonus is the fact that you guys can get a wallpaper of their intimate moments, whether they're first waking up, whether they're cooking. It's quite literally just them doing their day-to-day tasks and that's pretty cool. Now, besides just the friendship aspect of getting bonuses like wallpapers and stats, there is also pretty good storytelling. For example, Beryl is quite literally just a small girl that runs her own platoon, and at first you think that she may or may not care about her platoon too much. She's pretty strict on them, but once you actually go and help her, you can very much tell she does care. She literally balls in her friends' hands because of the fact that, well, she has the prospect of saving them. Now, not just that, but one thing I really want to mention is the fact that I was looking forward to being able to play with this girl named Elaine, and if you guys have played the story, Elaine is this nurse, and bro, I love her design. Unfortunately, she's not playable, or at the very least during the beta she wasn't, and I'm really hoping they can change their mind on that and make her playable, because I mean, okay, if I was to say my most anticipated character, the one I wanted to try the most, that was my most anticipated, you know? But surely, man, surely she'll be playable, right? Surely by launch, maybe. But regardless, yeah, she's my favorite design. Hopefully we can have her playable. Now, aside from the Elaine glaze, I do like the designs, I do like the animations, I really do like the ego skills. They are very much cool. A lot of the 4 stars, even like the Joker and things like that, they really have nice animations, and I'm actually really surprised by, actually take that back, I'm not surprised because I've played Epic 7, and Epic 7, they handle it really well. So when I play a game, especially knowing that the same creators like Super Creative are behind the project, I honestly had a lot of faith going into the animations, but I was still kind of surprised to see that they also gave the 4 stars the same treatment as the 5 stars. They all look really good, and I think you guys can tell just by looking at it. Hey guys, I just want to say thank you to whoever has made it this far. This is the end of the video, and I really do appreciate it. Not only that, but I just want to say thank you to Smilegate and Super Creative for giving me the opportunity to actually play this beta. This was one of the best games I've ever tried out during beta, and I do want to say thank you very much. Now, one more thing before I go, I just want to say anybody that's staying and watching me because they like my HSR content, ZZZ content, whatever it may be, I will still be uploading quite literally everything. I make videos on what I enjoy, and if I enjoy Chaos Zero Nightmare, that doesn't mean I'm gonna enjoy anything else any less. It just means that now we have another game that's gonna be posted on the channel. Now, do not worry, I'm gonna try to post everything frequently. Right now, this is just me exploring the beta test, and I want to show my love for the game. So regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.